Hello, hello, and welcome to Coma Pirate Radio, where we as esoteric pirates can slide our boats together, throw some ropes, tie some knots, and talk about some maps. And understanding that all of this is using alchemy, right? This is actually bringing our consciousnesses together, sharing some laughs, because laughter is an amazing banishment, and talk about important shit. And today I want to talk about the SnowWhite story. I know, it's crazy and unexpected, but it also has a lot to do with raising your vibration, getting on a different frequency of energy, and then the realization, dun dun dun, that you're under psychic attack. Oh my God, this shit is real. There's a pirate. And sometimes you don't know, dude, pirates are fucking crazy. Sometimes you don't know if it's a good guy or a bad guy. And you let them on the boat, I understand. And then they take your loot. And then sometimes they leave you on a deserted island, and then that sucks. And I feel you. Because I remember all of the times. And it has also kept me a hermit in this particular incarnation. And anyway, I feel everything. So I am also reading 2 books. Actually listening to. And see, then I even have to be like, you tell the truth. You're not really reading them. You're listening to them on Audible. And then I'm like, yeah, but I mean, you still read the book. But anyway, Dangerous Old Woman and Existential Kink. When you start feeling the synchronicities, everything starts making sense together as one, right? Because you get closer to understanding that everything is one, light, frequency, and vibration, yada, 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 yada. There's above and below, and they're equal. Yes. Okay. You start to understand these things. Now, I gotta tell you guys, I just finished Existential Kink by Carolyn Elliott. Amazing woman. I'm on all of her platforms. She's on it all. Amazing fucking book. And Dangerous Old Woman by Clarissa Estes PHD. So I think I call her doctor. Which on my TikTok videos, I realized, you said Mizra's. And then I was like, isn't she a PhD? And then I'm like, yeah, but, oh shit. Is that bad? And then, Jesus, everybody talks so fast at the same time. Would she be offended if you call her Mizra's instead of Doctor? Dr. Clarissa Estes? Or just say PhD at the end of her name. Like, dude, that's why I'm a pirate. Because I'll be walking up to the queens and be like, accidentally, I don't know, maybe calling her the wrong gender or something. And I'm like, oh jeez, dang. But I love myself, dude. I love myself. Anyway, so I'm going to tell this story, and it's not going to be near as amazingly told and read by Dr. Clarissa Estes, PhD. Bless her, God, her beautiful, I read her book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, in 8th grade and did a progress report on it. I think that's what they were called. No, they were a book report. I did a book report on this book, And my teacher, I will never forget you. Bless you and curse you. I was standing in front of the class doing my fucking report, and she called me out for mispronouncing Jungian because I said Jungian. And I mean, like, I get it. But dude, as a teacher, you didn't have to call me out in 8th grade. Giving a book report on a book that there's no fucking other 8th graders. I think that's what it was. Like, maybe she was jealous. She's like, look at this 8th grader trying to do this report on Women Who Run with the Wolves, which is an amazing fucking book, right? Anyway, okay, get on with the story, the real story. I mean, the Snow White story, which is all stories or one story. Whew. It can get dizzying because we loop back around many, many times. The Snow White story, as told by many, many very old women throughout history. So, you have the main characters that we all know. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Well, okay, let's start. Jesus, Eve, you've got to start at the beginning. You've got a baby born under an amazing, beautiful mother, because the mother has to die. And that's the sad part of the story. Right in the beginning, you got to cry. You let those watery emotions go, and you've got this baby, and you've got this wicked stepmother that comes in, and there you have it. Now, in the Snow White story, particularly, the wicked witch stepmother has her huntsman, she's got a mirror, right, that she talks to. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest? And it has to be her, right? And then there's this daughter-in-law. Oh, God. Can you feel that? Let's feel it in a different perspective. You have fallen in love with somebody with a kid. And you really love that person. Like, really, really. But the kid... And you don't want to say you don't like kids, and you don't want to say to yourself, how can you admit to yourself that you don't like this child? Dude. That one was a hard one for me as a mom, because I'm like, you're a terrible mother if you admit that you don't like your child. But then it's like, no. I mean, sometimes... fucking love her to death. She's fucking amazing, the best thing in the world. But also, she can be annoying as hell, and I don't like her, It's like, get out of my face! Get out of my room! Go do your Barbie shit and leave me alone! Bless Barbie. I had to use it because this fucking Barbie movie has come out. And again, with the synchronicities and the loops and the spins and the sacred feminines and the all the different perspective of women, the archetype, the Holy Mother. I just started reading the Mary Magdalene manuscripts, which is not like I haven't connected with Isis and Mary's, and oh yes, as my name is Eve, I looked into what my name was. I looked at my parents and I was like, why the fuck did you name me Eve? And they were Christian, and I was like, I mean, I felt the religion, I felt Jesus, and I was never against the religion. I loved it. I loved being an acolyte. I loved playing in the church and feeling like that edge of being scared, but knowing that it's a holy place that you're protecting. Yeah. I like to feel that. I like it a lot. So anyway, on with the story. The Snow White story. The witch is like, no, 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 no. She's wicked, wicked, wicked. She gonna get her huntsman to take the fucking kid out and kill it. Well, you know what happens. The huntsman goes out and he can't fucking kill the most beautiful thing he's ever held in his entire freaking life and existence. Feel him for a second. No, really. Feel it. You have been told to kill. He has the knife, dude, at her back, and he's holding her. Yeah, it's heavy. The story gets heavy sometimes if you really want to feel the story. Okay? So yes, the huntsman's like, fuck, I can't do this shit. Sets her down, and there's, different parts of the story where she talks to him and says, please don't kill me. And he's like, oh my God, I can't kill you. Run, 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 run. Puts her down. Run for your life. Run, run, run. Fucking run. There's that feeling where there's no protection. She's in the middle of the woods. She's a child. There is no protection. It's not the church. Run for your life. Okay. So, this beautiful ball of purity, the fairest in the land, of course she finds shelter. Of course she does. Because the earth envelops her with seven. Shall we do another? 7 dwarves. And no, they're not men, okay? The first thing. Of course, they're not all little dudes. I mean, I always thought that it was sexy and funny, which is why I liked the Snow White story in the beginning. And I meant to look up that singer that did this song about Snow White back in the day. And of course I can't remember the band because I can't even pronounce it. He's like German and he's like, yes. That song. If you've heard it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the idea of Snow White and living with 7 dwarves. And then, so in this story, then in The Dangerous Old Woman by Clarissa Estes PHD, they are androgynous. Of course they are. They're gnomes. Energetically, they are the little people of the earth, okay? Yes. Little people. Earthlings. Earth elementals. There are 7, and they are androgynous. And they take her in, and they tell her. Or, well, she tells them, right? She tells them the story, and they're like, oh my God, and then they love each other, and oh, live here, and there's a lot to that part. And then the dwarves are like, okay, now live here. We will protect you forever. You are ours now. Just don't, open the door and talk to anybody. Because the wicked because, you're in danger, right? And you can't leave because you're in danger. Danger, 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 danger. Now feel that energy in a different perspective, right? It's nice and protective, but then all of a sudden it's like, wait, I can't leave? And I can't talk to nobody? I'm in danger? What? So anyway, going back to the wicked stepmother, and she's talking to the mirror, and the mirror, we start to really feel the mirror, which I feel is, and beautifully said by Dr. Clarissa Estes when she said that the story is about the mirror. It's not about Snow White. It's not about the dwarves. It's not about the evil stepmom. It's not about the prince. It's about the mirror. And I was like, oh, God, bless you. Ah, thank you, God. Thank you. Bless you for saying that. For me hearing that. Thank you. It's about the mirror, guys. Okay? And the poor mirror is like uncovered and unraveled by this wicked stepmom, and she's like, who's the fairest? You gotta tell me I'm the fucking best, or else, you know. And the mirror has to lie every day, which, you know, yeah, dude, I feel the mirror in a different perspective. Like, come on, man, why? Just tell the fucking truth that you're a wicked witch and you're ugly on the inside and the outside. But then the mirror's like, well, I'll be smashed. And then it's like, what? Are you fucking, like, ballless, right? Like, do you have no backbone, right? A mirror having a backbone. And then understanding that the mirror is looking within yourself. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a mirror. So you're not talking to somebody else. You're talking to yourself here. And you have to lie to yourself that you're beautiful. Because if you told yourself that you were wicked and horrible and ugly, you can't. That's dangerous. Okay, danger. You could end up on a downward spiral of avoidance and drugs, pain, and bringing in Existential Kink, this amazing book by Carolyn Elliott, understanding that there are some of us who get this kinky, crazy, lovely pleasure from the Wicked Witch and being scared, okay? And that once we take this under realization in our psyches and we love it and we say, you know what, you're okay. You're really okay. And you don't have to be this way. You can change. That's the whole thing. That's the whole key. That's the whole healing process. The number 5. That's when all the 555s start coming to you. Okay, on with the story. So, it's interesting that this happens repetitively because the wicked stepmom, of course, the mirror is finally like, I gotta tell you the truth, you're not the fairest. And the Wicked Witch turns into an old woman and goes and finds Snow White and tries to kill her. Now, in the story that we know, it only happens once with an apple. Really interesting why they took the rest of the other 3s. Oh, well, it's repetitive. We don't have to say it over and over again. Oh, my God. Well, you know, maybe repetition is a key. And, you know, they're trying to take all the keys back to the pirates and back to talking about the maps and understanding this alchemy in our minds and how we see things. So, this happens repetitively. The old woman comes and knocks on the door, and the first time you get it, Snow White opens the door, and she sees this little old woman, and the little old woman's like, oh, look, I can sell you this. This is what I got for you. And she's like, oh, that's amazing. And she's poisoned. And the first time, I love the original story. The first time there were the bars in a corset, or the ropes, or whatever, the string. She comes in and she's tying the corset, and she ties it so tight. Oh, God. Even that is like, dude, are you serious? Like, fucking corsets are kinky as hell. And they're sexy. I wore one for a couple of years. Now, I didn't like wearing it. I didn't. No, it was not a couple of years. You just told yourself out. But, I mean, okay, I got this beautiful corset and ordered it from a really good company. It was all right. It was perfect. And I was going to wear it under, at the tattoo studio. I was like 20. So I was like, I'm going to look fucking awesome. And I did, dude. I did. I loved how it made me look. I loved getting into it. Of course, I was with an ex. And I liked it. But how it made me feel, like I couldn't pick anything up and I fucking couldn't breathe. I'm a tattooist, dude. I have to twist up in between you kind of type thing, If I'm doing a tattoo on your wherever. So at the tattoo studio, it was very, very uncomfortable and not conducive to my work. So that's why I didn't continue wearing them. But I love that part of the story. And then the second time, so she passes out and then the evil witch leaves thinking that she's dead, which is like, really? You really, if you really wanted to make sure she was dead, okay, it's cool, man. Leave. That's good. Anyway, the dwarves come in, find out, and she just had passed out, right? So she comes to, and they're like, and in the story, and the way Dr. Estes read it was just so nice. Oh, Snow White, we told you. You really shouldn't open the door for anyone. Dude, shit. If that was me talking to my daughter, I'm like, motherfucker, you almost died. What the fuck are you thinking? I fucking told you. You're in fucking danger. Don't open the fucking door. God damn it. What are you thinking? Bless. But dude, really feel that. Really feel it. Like I've felt it. My kid, she was just a little thing, and she waddled off into the jungle down by the creek, and I had 7 people in the house at Center of Mystic Arts. Bless all of you guys. Who knows if anybody that was actually there at that time is listening. That would be... it's very high possibility. High possibility. There were probably 7 people in the house. I don't know how many. I could try and count, but I remember the day very clearly, and I was tattooing, and oh yes, she will remember the story, and she will listen. And I try not to, I'm so weird about giving out names, where it's like, obviously she probably would laugh at me for not wanting to say her name, because she wouldn't mind it, but at the same time, yeah, anyway. This person came to me with little Sophie and was like, dude, her face. I looked at her face. I knew. I was like, what happened? Because they are they're standing there, and their energy, man, I felt it. And then she said, I just found Sophie walking up from the river, alone and wet. And, bless her heart. This is an amazing story. These Como Pirate Radios are going to be long, because I've been doing TikTok a lot lately, and I'm like, all right, that's the short version. If you really want to listen to my stories, you're going to have the attention span. Okay, for repetition and understanding that it's not a straight fucking direct path to the treasure chest. Come on. It's a treasure map for a fucking reason. Not so that you can find it really quickly and, oh, whoop, boom, there I'm there. It's A to B. Yay. What the fuck? Snow White. Purity. Innocence. Come on. You can't stay a baby. You can't stay a baby if you have something to protect. So, The second time it happens, it was the comb. Oh God, yes. I feel the comb because brushing my hair, and it just brings you to the hair, okay? Which is making me rub my hair right now. It's like, oh yeah. Oh. Ooh, that feeling. I can feel being enticed. She's like, I know that the dwarves told me not to open and the door, and there's this old woman out here, but my fucking God, look at that brush. Oh, God. You know that brush is gonna feel good. Oh, down through your scalp and your hair. And maybe she'll brush your hair for you. And you just, I mean, Jesus, can you feel that? Can you feel that passion of the innocent to experience something? And she, even though she's told it's dangerous and you need to be locked in this tower, and she's like, fuck that. I will experience this. And well, of course, the comb is poisoned and blah, blah, blah. The wicked witch. No, yay, yay, yay. And then it's like, really? You gonna leave? Like, you didn't kill her last time. You sure you don't want to go make sure she's dead this time? And she's like, no, it's fine. Yee, yippee. She's dead. And I'm like, all right, whatever. She goes to the mirror, and of course the mirror has to tell her, because of course it didn't kill her, and of course the gnomes come in, the dwarves. Oh, God. And they're still patient. Oh, SnowWhite, God. What are you thinking? You really need to be careful. I want to be like that. I like that. I mean, I like being loud too, but there's a balance and there's a timing. When to be loud and when to be really quiet. And I like that feeling of just being like, no matter what. For somebody, yeah, and sharing space with somebody. The way people talk. When they say what they say. Anyway. All right, and the third time, it's actually the third time that it's the apple, right? And this time, at least the Wicked Witch has a little bit of forethought and was like, okay, I'm going to poison half of it and I'm going to leave the other half non-poisoned. So when she gets to SnowWhite, and SnowWhite's like, I mean, you know, I've been told, and last time, and dude, I think you're the same old woman that killed me twice before, tried to kill me. I just need to be very careful. And she's like, oh, but I have an apple. She's like, oh, wait. You have a what? And she starts to feel the apple. And the juicy. It's interesting that it's a fruit this time. Oh my goodness. The juiciness. And you know, being in Costa Rica, in the rainforest, the fruit is definitely worth drooling over. Because you know, this third time it has to be something real good to really entice SnowWhite, because she's been told 2 other times before. It's starting to sort of sink in, you know, kind of little bit, kind of. But I mean, when she sees that apple, she is just, I get it, overcome with the juiciness. I mean, apple juice, right? Flowing down your chin. Yeah. Applesauce. Dude, I love some applesauce. And see, the witch, she had already also, because, you know, they're a mirror, right? We've got this mirror between these two. So the witch is starting to wise up a little bit too. And it's like, all right, she's got to be wising up a little bit. I feel it. You feel it. We feel it. This time I'm prepared. So she was like, I know you're scared, but look, it's not poison. I'll even eat half of it. And at this point you have this beautiful Gemini slicing of the apple, the separating of the two parts with the sword, right? The mind. And And she eats the, obviously not the poisoned half, but the juiciest, the prettiest part is the, that's the poison is the prettiest thing, right? The prettiest part is the poison. So this time it really, it really worked. All of it, and it kills her. And the dwarves put her in this glass casket, which is a beautiful idea because everybody can see her even in death. And she doesn't decompose, which is a symbolism of the diamond, right? I mean, that's literally what they just created in your mind, is the diamond. This perfected beauty encased in glass, a diamond. And they protect it, right? And it's in the middle of the forest, of course. It's like it is then at that point the jeweled island the pirates can think about. At that point, it becomes the treasure, the buried treasure that is guarded. And she's there for God knows how long, right? I mean, and then the part that blew my mind is that the prince that comes after her is not the prince that we all saw in Disney. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm like, oh, that's way more appropriate. Mars comes to her. The god of war. Bloodied and scarred and has no heart. And when he sees her, he falls on his knees. Because to be that hard, you can't have sensitive feelings. You can't get through all the battle wounds. You can't win another war. You can't go to war. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, what? No. Why would you do that to yourself? Oh my God. Jesus Christ. And there's even this scary disdain for warriors that I've noticed in the collective consciousness, that I've even admittedly have felt it as a tattoo studio owner in the good old days in a military town. And I have a lot of military friends, and I have pulled a knife on a couple of military guys, It's a tattoo studio. You got to protect yourself. So, anyway, this warrior is just brought to his knees. And I'm like, oh, I knew I liked this story. This story is so much better. But the dwarf is like, fuck you, I will kill you, motherfucker. And I love this part too, because it's like, Mars is like, who the fuck are you, you motherfucker? Who do you think you fucking talking to? Like, he's laughing, like, can you feel him? Mars is like, oh God. And at that point, like, the dwarf takes the form of Pluto. Pluto is the emo kid that's, yes! Oh, that's so beautiful. Can you see it? He's protecting the jeweled island, and he's in a robe, right? He's the emo Dungeons and Dragon kid with the glasses, and he's like protecting this beautiful queen from the bloody jock, right? That he's like, you will not take her. And at that point, that jock, it's cool, because, he's like, I respect that. And he looks at SnowWhite, of course, and he gained his heart back. He is under a spell of healing at that point through SnowWhite. He sees SnowWhite. He gets a heart. And he looks at this dwarf, and then he says, this is a worthy thing to fucking protect. Wait a second, this little fucking nerd, he might have something going on here. Maybe I need to take some, after school study lessons. And I love the Mars and Pluto combination. Those two getting together, for me, they have such a good time. And so they did. And the warrior stays by Snow White's side with the dwarf, and they get to know each other. And he's like, the jock, the Mars is finally like, yo, Pluto, you know, I could take her to a castle. And, I can even hear this conversation. This is not Dangerous Old Woman, by the way, but this is what I'm feeling in the cosmos. It's like we've got Venus, the diamond, and then we got Mars, and then we've got Pluto all sitting around. And Mars is like, I need to take her to the city. I mean, everybody needs to see this. This is the heart. This is the jewel. And then Pluto's like, fuck you, man. No. They're gonna fucking kill her. Well, she's already dead, Pluto. I mean, what the fuck? Oh, God. And Pluto he feels it so heavy, and even he's bringing a little bit of tears to my eyes, and he's like, no, she's too beautiful. She's too precious. We can't take her to the city. And then Mars is like, she will, but she's not saving the world here, right? Like, she's in the forest. And then Pluto's like, yeah, the forest is where we all need to be. But Mars is like, no, she needs to be seen. And then finally Pluto's like, she's just laying there, right? Like, and maybe he gets tired. He's like, he starts thinking about it. He's like, you know what? I've been on guard for this thing for a long motherfucking time. Maybe I need a break. Like, his spirit guides start talking to him, and he's like, all right, dude, I think I'm going to let you take him. Like, we've gotten to know each other. I trust you. Or take her, right? That's interesting that I said that. Take the diamond to the city. And he's like, all right, I trust you, and I need a break. So let's do this. And so Mars calls all of his friends, all of his buddies, big, strong, manly men, and they come. And this tops the story. It's not the kiss that heals her. And all of the, bless their hearts, I've heard a lot of women complain about this part. One, it's a non-consensual kiss because she's dead. and I've always been like, yeah, I feel that, but she dead. Like, she can't consent anyway. But, playing the devil's advocate there. But so, yeah, just take it out of the whole fucking story. Just, you know what? Forget that fucking part. That's not how she comes to life any fucking way. That was just a fucking ploy to get you to separate, to think about that like that, right? Obviously. So what Mars really does is he gets all of his men, friends, warriors to carry her into town, because who do you trust with the most precious diamond in the world? A bunch of jocks that are strong men. And yes, this is the other best part of the story is one dude trips on a rock or a root. Of course he does. He's walking through the fucking forest with the most precious thing in the world. He's probably sweating balls. He's probably holding his breath, and he trips, and they drop the glass casket. All right. And I'm like, listening to this story, and I swear my hands threw up in the air, and I was like, oh my God, I love this fucking story now more than anything else in the whole entire planet. I love this story. So they drop the casket. It shatters. Can you imagine? Can you feel what that felt like? The group of men. Oh my God, Mars. Mars. What have you done? Oh. But it wasn't too long. That was like very, very short, because what happened was Snow White hits the ground and the poisonous apple is lodged out of her throat, which makes so much more sense about how and why she came back to life, right? Like, it's knocked out of her by roots and by everything breaking. Everything breaking. And yeah, I mean, the rest of the story is the rest of the story. Well, no, there's another end, because she wakes up and she's like, oh my God, and she falls in love, of course, with the prince that's coming to save her, and the dwarves are all happy and they get married and yay. And she goes to the city. She's seen and she heals the people. And now what happened to the Wicked Witch? And this is a good part, because it was interesting the way she told the story, and that, you know, there you think that that's the end, but it's not the end. What happens is the dwarves knew that the witch was going to try again, of course. I mean, they're the dwarves. They know that this shit is going to happen again unless you really, really, really take care of the problem. Okay? So at that point, they become they're always the protectors. They protect her in the forest, but they have to, like, isolate her. They protect her when she's dead in the forest, and again, that's even more isolation. Like, nobody can see her except the animals. And then Mars comes along and, you know, takes her to be seen, opens her up. Oh, yeah, he does. He says, come on, baby. We gonna go to the city. Woo! She's like, oh, the city. Oh my God, it's so dangerous. Okay, that is enough. This is already 44 minutes long. And that, it's not the end of the story. You know, it's really interesting too, because in The Dangerous Old Woman by Dr. Estes, she talked about this old grandmother, talking about, I mean, again, it's sometimes hard for me the specifics, but the feeling I get of taking a long time to say goodbye or to end something, right? You think it's the end, and then you're like, yeah, no, wait, we got some more stuff to say. And how it's interesting that on YouTube, I've learned that this is very, very not good, because then people click off your video and don't watch the end, and it's bad for the algorithms. Interestingly enough, I'm going to do it. And also forget to say, please like and subscribe and share. And all of my links are below. But there is more to the story, because the dwarves know that they have to take care of the Wicked Witch, because nobody else is going to do it, and they are the miners. And so what do? They make iron shoes. It's interesting that they don't use poison, and they don't use their daggers that were so highlighted in the story. Oh, and I forgot to highlight them in the story when they find her the first time and she's corseted and she's tied too tight. They take their little knives and they pop them loose. And then Snow White's able to breathe again, right? So interesting, the knives of these dwarves. But they don't use the knives on the witch. They use iron shoes. Now think about that. And they hold her down. And they put these iron shoes on her that she can't take off. That keep her grounded. So that as Snow White ascends, right? She has raised her vibration, is in the city, vibing and shining as brightly as she fucking can and is the movie star. She is the movie star at this point. The witch cannot get to her because she's grounded. She's down. She's tethered and tied at the bottom. Esoterically. And this is the kind of stuff that we really learn, well, we study at Center of Mystic Arts. I have a magician's apprenticeship program where we talk about all kinds of stuff like this, and we read books. So, like, I mean, you know, if you're looking for a really good time in Costa Rica with, like, seeing sloths and stuff, I mean, you might not want to come to Coma because, like, all we do is hang out, do magic, do ceremonies, do yoga, read books, sit around the fire, play with horses. No, there's definitely time to go to the beach because, you know, the beach is a very good place to think about the books that you've been reading. And, yeah, and Center of Mystic Arts wants to be known. It knows that it's the SnowWhite. It went through that phase, and I mean to tell you, did it go through the phase of SnowWhite being like the hermit? I mean, I couldn't make a freaking sign for Coma that would stay up on a tree, or I would forget it in somebody's car, or like so many Coma kids and I have tried to advertise for Coma. And she was like, no. But now she is saying yes. And, oh, yeah, she's definitely saying yes. And hopefully you will see Coma shine at centerofmysticarts.com. We have a Patreon account that is where we're going to be putting all of our group footage. It'll be a lot of fun. And I've got all kinds of ideas of like a treasure chest and a lottery. And I mean, it's just a matter of implementing and getting enough people on board to help, because I can't do it all alone. I can't do it all by myself. All by myself. All right. Thank you so much. Whether you're traveling physically or mentally, may it be in love, light, shadow. And don't forget the lube when you need to be slippery to get through the tight spots. And don't forget the wax when you need to hold on to the ropes so that you don't fall into the depths. Take care. Ciao.